Zombies, horrific monsters, evil corporations, and cheesy dialogue.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
This is Resident Evil, the long-running series that popularized the term survival horror and is beloved by gamers to this very day, standing the test of time. In this special Untold Legends 6-part series, we're going to go through the entire Resident Evil timeline, showcasing the rise of the evil Umbrella Corporation, and how it changed the world forever with its horrific experiments. Before we get started, let's set some quick ground rules. I can't include every single detail of the Resident Evil storyline, or this series would never end, but you'll have a detailed understanding of its events by the end of it all. This series was meant to celebrate everything Resident Evil, from the greatest of its entries to the lesser known, so I'll be including events considered non-canon, such as Resident Evil Gaiden, and fitting them into the overall story. So for all of you canon detectives out there feeling the need to inform me something isn't canon, I know. Some games have multiple endings, different outcomes based on choices, and parallel scenarios involving different characters in the same locations and times. So I'll be mixing around storylines together like a jigsaw puzzle in an effort to tell a fluid, interesting story. These videos will be long and detailed, so strap in and enjoy the ride. Welcome to the Resident Evil Timeline, Part 1, The T-Virus. The universe of Resident Evil begins with the Umbrella Corporation, an enormous company that had influence in many areas, such as pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, consumer products, tourism.
From the leading name in biotechnology comes Regenerate. Another breakthrough from the Umbrella Corporation. Regenerate's revolutionary T-cell formula actually brings dead cells back to life.
But secretly, all of Umbrella's public ventures were merely used to cover up its illegal biological experiments. But how did Umbrella begin? How did it become a corporation threatening to destroy humanity as we know it? To understand Umbrella, we have to go back in time and explore its founders, the three most prominent founding members being Oswald Spencer, Edward Ashford, and James Marcus. Three men who were university classmates and all worked together to create the company. Oswald Spencer was a man obsessed with the thought of immortality, who believed the world was self-destructive, and he had a twisted vision of remaking the world and leading it into a new utopian era, with himself as ruler. Over years of research, Spencer came to believe that a mythical flower known as the Stairway of the Sun, located in West Africa, contained a mutagenic virus that enhanced anyone who consumed it, a flower known in the legends of the nearby tribes. In a trip to Africa, Spencer discovered the flower in an underground garden and the virus found inside of it. He named the progenitor virus. This virus had the ability to infect a wide variety of organisms, humans, animals, and even plants, recombining the host genes, and under special circumstances even caused spontaneous mutations. Amazed by the virus but requiring more funding to continue his research, Spencer, along with Marcus and Ashford, created Umbrella Pharmaceuticals, using the company to transport samples of the virus across the Atlantic for research. And needing a place to continue his research, Spencer hired an architect named George Trevor to construct a mansion in the Arklay Mountains near the midwestern U.S. town of Raccoon City, where an underground lab would be hidden. Believing the progenitor was the key to creating a race of supermen, Umbrella needed to secure the funds to continue their research, and the company secretly agreed to develop bioweapons for the US government in return. With the necessary funds in place, Spencer, Marcus, and Ashford all studied the progenitor virus from different labs, and eventually cultivated a mutated strain Umbrella called the T-Virus, otherwise known as the Tyrant Virus, a virus that eliminated the need for a large-scale army in the eyes of the government. Extremely contagious and guaranteeing a 100% mortality rate, the T-Virus was believed to simply kill its victims at first, but it would eventually prove to be more dangerous through the years. With the beginnings of the T-Virus in place, Umbrella used the funds received from the government to create a superior human being, in a project dubbed the Wesker Project, after the scientist in charge of it, and several children from parents considered to be highly intelligent were kidnapped and Umbrella had them injected with a prototype virus at some point of their lives, unsure of what effect it would have on them. Most of the children died over time, but the very few survivors were raised by Umbrella, and given the surname Wesker, and educated to serve the company's needs. As the children grew, even more died from exposure to the prototype virus, and only 2 survived into adulthood, Albert Wesker and Alex Wesker, who hadn't yet taken the virus. two children that would eventually become major threats to the world. Around the time Project Wester began, Spencer had also decided that the mansion's architect, George Trevor, and his family knew too much. The family was a liability, and Umbrella was in need of human test subjects. Spencer had George, his wife Jessica, and his daughter Lisa drugged and taken in for experimentation. George eventually escaped, starving to death in the unfinished passages below the mansion. His wife Jessica was experimented on using the progenitor virus, but was killed and discarded by Umbrella, leaving Lisa Trevor alone. The young girl was injected with the progenitor virus and multiple drugs, which slowly drove her to madness, and eventually made a desperate attempt to escape. In order to lure her back, a lab assistant dressed as Lisa's mother, but the deception resulted in Lisa believing that she had stolen her mother's face, lunging at the assistant with a knife, carving off her face and wearing it as her own. After escaping, Lisa discovered an underground tomb with her mother's name engraved on it, believing that her body was buried there. But in time, she was found by Umbrella and recaptured, spending decades surviving test after test and further mutating into a grotesque creature. Lisa Trevor's reactions to the experiments being performed on her were crucial to the development of the T-virus and its multiple strains. Over the next several years, a young Albert Wesker, now employed by the same company that raised him, helped expand the T-virus project with the help of a brilliant scientist named William Birkin at the end of the 1970s. Birkin eventually gave Wesker the same prototype virus that was given to the other Wesker children, curious about what effect it would have long term, and Birkin was further able to weaponize the T-virus successfully. It could now keep the infected alive, in a severely mentally damaged state after cardiac arrest. After seemingly being reanimated, the infected could only exist in a violent cannibalistic state, devoid of intelligence and any shred of humanity. But one problem kept the T-virus from being as deadly as possible. Birkin discovered that statistically about 10% of the population would be immune to its effects, and in Umbrella's eyes, this would be ineffective as a biological weapon. To create ways around these immunities, the Arklay Mountains lab decided to use the T-virus to engineer new species of creatures using animals, and even creating brand new species. In some cases, the virus caused existing animals to become extremely aggressive, grow to immense sizes, or even develop into a zombified state similar to humans. The T-virus was truly an unpredictable danger, and any members of a population that were immune would sure be cut down by the monsters it created. It was even discovered that plants would react to the virus in unexpected ways, becoming carnivorous and deadly. After closely monitoring Lisa Trevor's mutations, Birkin also discovered a new mutated strain of the progenitor virus within her body, different than the T-virus. He named this new strain the Golgotha virus, otherwise known as the G-virus. He eventually believed the G-virus could be used to create enhanced human beings that were capable of breeding, matching up with the vision of the future Spencer dreamed of. And over the next couple of decades, Umbrella continued growing as Alex Wesker left to continue her own research. But Albert Wesker and Birkin continued working together at the Arklay lab, and the company expanded rapidly, creating multiple facilities and branches around the world, and become one of the largest corporations in existence, providing jobs worldwide and gaining a positive public appearance, with most employees having no idea of the horrible secrets the company was hiding at its highest levels. And with great power comes the thirst for more power, as the three major heads of the company began warring amongst themselves, trying to wrestle control of the company away from each other. Ashford was killed by an accident involving the T-virus, which Spencer believed to be the mastermind. Edward Ashford's own son Alexander was a minor scientist within Umbrella who mysteriously disappeared, and his genetically engineered daughter Alexia was infected with an experimental T-virus strain known as the T. Veronica virus, and was presumed dead. Her brother Alfred Ashford was given minor administrative roles within Umbrella, so Spencer believed the Ashford family no longer presented a threat. Dr. Marcus, on the other hand, was experimenting with the T-virus and leeches, creating a creature known as the Queen Leech in 1988, a mutant leech that had the ability to change its shape and consume organic matter. But Marcus had become unpopular with the executives of the company due to using his own trainees as test subjects. And that same year, Umbrella's security service was sent in to execute him with the help of Wesker and Birkin. Umbrella disposed of Marcus, throwing his body into the waters of a nearby sewage plant, and his Queen Leech thrown out with him. But the monster he created entered his body and would spend the next decade merging with him into a creature that would seek bloody retribution. The deaths of Marcus and Ashford left Spencer as the sole power-hungry founding member of Umbrella. And in 1995, it was decided that Lisa Trevor was no longer useful to their needs, as she had murdered several lab assistants in her fits of rage. Umbrella executed her and watched her body for 3 days, ensuring that she wouldn't revive. After being confident that she was dead, her body was taken to a secret location and dumped, where she did in fact wake up. living a solitary life in a nearby cabin and surviving on the vegetation in the area. In 1996, Albert Wesker joined Raccoon City's newly found Special Tactics and Rescue Service, known as STARS, a specialized division of the nearby Raccoon City Police Department. Wesker, as captain of the STARS Alpha team, was secretly a double agent for Umbrella, keeping tabs on any possible police investigations that could possibly expose the company. While commanding the STARS team, he took note of their exceptional abilities, and fellow STARS member Chris Redfield developed a strong trust for his captain, a trust that would soon be betrayed. Umbrella's plans for the future seemed to be solidly on track, but industrial espionage and internal destabilization would soon begin their downfall. Other corporations were aware of Umbrella's dark side, and had been attempted to steal their secrets for some time. By 1998, Umbrella's rival company, only known as the Organization, had sent one of their agents, Ada Wong, to infiltrate the company and gather information on all of their current projects. Ada began a relationship with one of their chief scientists, feeding everything she learned to the Organization. And that same year, the Queen Leech finished feeding on the corpse of Dr. Marcus, and after absorbing his brain, the creature took the shape of Dr. Marcus's younger form, and believed itself to be Dr. Marcus reborn, recreating his personality and demanding revenge for his death. Using its shape-shifting abilities, the Queen Leech manipulated an accident at the Arklay laboratory, resulting in the T-virus being released and Umbrella's monsters escaping into the nearby forest. Their secrets could no longer be contained. Umbrella sent investigation teams into the training center near the mansion to uncover what happened, but they were attacked and infected by the T-virus and the Queen's leeches, as well as an entire passenger train nearby transporting Umbrella staff.
Do you think so too?
Yeah.
Do about it.
Hold off for a while.
But I wonder how those hiring people would react to this.
After causing the collapse of the facility, the Queen Leech sought to create a viral outbreak that would infect the entire world, judging the entire human race to be wicked. During the summer of 1998, bizarre murder cases were being investigated. Bodies were found mutilated in the outskirts of Raccoon City near the forest, and reports of families being attacked by groups of violent, cannibalistic people were becoming more common, as the Raccoon City Police Department decided to act. Half of the STARS unit, known as Bravo Team, were sent into the forest in the Arklay Mountains to investigate the murders and bring whoever was responsible to justice. But this night would prove to be their doom. This begins the events of Resident Evil 0.
What's going on? Engine failure. Emergency landing.
Check the current position and investigate the surrounding area.
Captain, look!
While investigating the surrounding area near the crash site, the surviving members of Bravo Team discovered a crashed military convoy, and the youngest member and medic of the team, Rebecca Chambers, discovered that the convoy was transporting a dangerous criminal known as Billy Cohen. And Captain Enrico Marini of Bravo Team ordered the group to split up and search the area. He believed that Billy was in the area and responsible for the death of the soldiers transporting him. In reality, the convoy was attacked by a pack of Umbrella's Cerberus, vicious dogs infected by the T-virus and released when the Queen Leech attacked the facility. The team separated, and Rebecca discovered the train carrying Umbrella employees damaged, and she knew there was no way one man could cause all this chaos. Entering the train, Rebecca made a horrific discovery.
Please identify yourself. Is someone there?
The government has announced that it has set up uncommon, but as of 2 years ago, when several plans were set up, the local government
just happened? I thought they were dead.
After making her way through the train, she encountered Billy, alone and at gunpoint. But Rebecca, using her STARS training, remained calm and threatened to take him under arrest. But a criminal with this reputation had no fear towards a young girl and simply walked away from her, leaving her to face the horrors of the forest alone.
I've already worn handcuffs.
I could shoot, you know. Edward, are you all right? What happened?
It's worse than... We can't. You must be careful, Rebecca. The forest is full of zombies and monsters.
Zombies and monsters.
Edward Dewey, co-pilot of Bravo Team, was dead, and Captain Enrico contacted Rebecca on her radio, warning her to be careful. Billy Cohen had reportedly murdered 23 people, and soon enough, Rebecca would encounter him again. Unable to cooperate with a known criminal, Rebecca discovered that this train had more than zombies on it. Dr. Marcus's infected leeches were still very much present.
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
Are you okay?
The train was now mysteriously running, and the pair had finally decided to work together, investigating the insides of the train, fending off the creatures inside, while Wesker and Birkin were trying to understand how the virus was leaked.
Delta Team, this is Delta Team. We have gained control of the train. Over.
Understood.
This does not make any sense. How was the T-virus leaked? And why did it contaminate both the lab and the mansion, as well as a train almost 3 miles away?
That's irrelevant. We must make sure no knowledge of this gets out. Destroy the train. Completely. How far away are you from the nearest branch line?
About 10 minutes to...
What happened?
One of Umbrella's most horrific experiments had also made its way into the train. The company had been experimenting with arachnid-based bioweaponry, and in their efforts they created the Stinger, a scorpion infected with the T-virus that had grown to a massive, uncontrollable size. Finally reaching the brakes of the high-speed train, Billy and Rebecca attempted to stop it, but could only slow it down as it went crashing into a strange facility. This facility near the Spencer Mansion was the Umbrella Executive Training Center, a building dedicated to training researchers as potential executive officers, who were meant to become the next generation of the company's management. Rebecca noticed a portrait of Dr. James Marcus, recognizing his face being formed by the leech monster that she faced on the train, while Wesker and Birkin watched them both from the security camera as the Queen Leech revealed itself.
Who are you?
It was I who scattered the T-virus in the mansion. Needless to say, I contaminated the train, too.
What?
Revenge. On Umbrella.
Dr. Marcus?
10 years ago, Dr. Marcus was murdered by Umbrella. You helped them, didn't you?
Realizing that Billy and Rebecca may pose a problem, the Queen Leech released more of Marcus's secret experiments, including the Eliminators, primate-based bioorganic weapons.
Rebecca! Hold on! We have to focus. Aim for the head.
Wesker realized that this outbreak would eventually mean the end for Umbrella, and decided to prepare to leave the company to pursue his own goals, and take his knowledge elsewhere. Wesker knew Umbrella had a secret project that was almost complete, a new bioweapon known as the Tyrant, but he needed to see the Tyrant in the field to gather combat data, and Wesker decided to return to Raccoon City and lure the STARS Alpha team to the Spencer Mansion in order to gather the data he needed. But he needed help to ensure that they would find the lab, developing a plot to convince fellow team member Barry Burton that his family had been kidnapped, using them to force his assistance. As Wesker left, Birkin decided to collect his research on the G-Virus and activate the self-destruct mechanism in the facility in order to destroy the Queen Leech and the STARS members investigating. Rebecca and Billy continued looking for a way to escape the facility, and having been through so much together already, Rebecca began to trust him, as Captain Marini contacted her, asking if she'd found Billy yet. But Rebecca covered for him and questioned if he had really killed so many people, and he finally revealed the truth.
Billy, I just need to know. I need to know the truth. Did you kill 23 people? I'm not going to judge you. I just want to know the truth.
It was around this time last year. Our unit was ordered to Africa to intervene in a civil war. Our mission was to raid a hideout of some guerrilla forces located deep inside the jungle. Only, there was no guerrilla hideout.
What do you mean?
The idiots in charge had us operating based on wrong information. But we couldn't just go back home empty-handed, oh no. Our leader ordered us to attack an innocent village.
Get rid of them! Kill them all! Please, sir! Ceasefire immediately! Shut up! do it!
Now my people think you killed those MPs in the van, but I don't think you did. It was those zombie dogs, right?
You don't get it. I've only got 2 choices left. Either report to the Marines and serve out my sentence, or keep on running for as long as I can. That's all.
Getting closer to the heart of the facility, Billy and Rebecca encountered another Umbrella monstrosity, the Centurion, a centipede mutated by the T-virus.
Rebecca!
Rebecca! Are you all right?
Yes, thank you.
After destroying the creature, Rebecca and Billy found a tram leading deeper into Umbrella's secrets, but they were attacked and Billy fell from the railing, nowhere to be seen. Rebecca felt that he was still alive, but had to continue without him, taking the tram and meeting up with Captain Marini. In his investigation, he had discovered that Umbrella was performing experiments in the old Spencer mansion nearby, and the rest of the Bravo team was supposed to meet there. Rebecca, determined to find Billy, separated from her captain, and that was the last time that she would ever see him. Eventually, she did find Billy washed up. As he recovered, they realized they ended up in a dumping site for bodies that Umbrella had experimented on.
What could have done this?
They must have been used as test subjects in Marcus's research. He must have kept messing around with the mother virus.
Billy?
Soon after, they faced the Queen Leech, still believing it was Dr. Marcus, threatening to end the pair once and for all, and ensuring its rule over the world.
You'll pay for what you've done!
We'll see which one of us is gonna die!
As they faced off against the Queen, Wesker made his way out of the facility to enact his plan, but was stopped momentarily by a man named Sergei Vladimir, a high-ranking executive of Umbrella who had been sent in to retrieve the prototype of Umbrella's most important bioorganic weapon, known as Talos. Sergei never trusted Wesker and always questioned his motivations, and upset that Wesker hadn't reclaimed the management facility for Umbrella, Sergei decided to punish him by sending his bodyguard after him, a tyrant virus experiment known as an Ivan, as Birkin activated the self-destruct sequence.
I guess he didn't like his lesson. Fine. We have the Talos retrieval to take care of anyway. Everything for Umbrella.
While Wesker fought for his life against the Ivan, Billy and Rebecca fought the Queen Leech and realized it couldn't handle sunlight. For the first time, they were sure the monster could be destroyed.
doesn't like sunlight.
Feast on this! Rebecca, hurry!
The Queen Leech was dead, and the management facility was destroyed, as Wesker escaped Sergei's attack and headed back to Raccoon City. Billy and Rebecca had survived the nightmare somehow, seeing the Spencer Mansion in the distance, where Bravo team was waiting. Rebecca, knowing that Billy was in fact a good man, let him go, with no plans to turn him in for the crimes that he did not commit. But the nightmare was only beginning. After making her way to the mansion, Rebecca didn't find her team. In fact, she found the same horrors that she had faced in the management facility. The virus had also affected this area, and she found herself running from the dogs in the woods, hiding out in a guest house, but was eventually found by Richard Aiken, Bravo team's communications expert.
Edward's dead.
I see. It's not much better on my end either. We got attacked by those things and had to split up. The rest of the team is either in hiding or... We just have to find Enrico. He'll know what to do.
Last time Rebecca had seen Captain Marini, he was on the way to the mansion, so Richard and Rebecca thought it best to search for him. If anyone knew what to do or get out of the area alive, it would be the captain. But the path to the mansion wouldn't be easy, as the outside area was covered in infected animals. Rebecca and Richard finally made it to the mansion, and found it swarming with Umbrella's hunters, and more workers infected by the T-virus. They had to find the rest of Bravo team and escape the terrors of the Spencer Mansion. While searching for their team, Sergei and his Ivan took the Talos prototype they were searching for and made their way through the woods fearlessly.
Who's that?
They're going into the forest.
Unbelievable. I wonder what they could be up to. Let's move.
Yeah.
But another animal much worse made the mansion its home, and had Rebecca and Richard in its sights. The Umbrella experiment known as the Yawn, a snake infected by the T-virus.
Rebecca! Are you alright?
It's probably just us now.
Help will come. Besides, I'll back you up. And with me around, what could go wrong? What is that thing? We can run past it.
Rebecca and Richard successfully fought off the Yawn, leaving the snake wounded, but Richard paid the price, still alive but suffering from the Yawn's venomous bite, and bleeding fast from his injuries. His time was running out, and Rebecca had to find a solution somehow. During the day, Wesker had made his way back to the Raccoon City Police Department after convincing Barry that his family was kidnapped, telling the angry father that the only way he would see them again was to get in line with his plans for Alpha Team. Wesker gathered the STARS Alpha Team together, informing them that Bravo Team had gone missing. Without a second thought, they geared up and set out to find Bravo Team, in the same area they were sent to investigate the murders, finding their crashed helicopter and leading us to the events of the original Resident Evil.
This way. Damn it! Make for that mansion!
Trapped in the mansion and left behind by the terrified pilot Brad Vickers, only Jill Valentine, Barry, and Wesker had made it. Chris had gotten separated from the group outside. Jill and Chris were extremely close, and she was immediately concerned for his safety. Jill and Barry set out to investigate if Chris made it inside the mansion, as Wesker said he'd stayed behind, and Jill saw what the T-Virus could do to a human for the first time.
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Let's just hope it's not Chris's.
What is it?
Look out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of it! What the hell is this thing?
I found Kenneth killed by this thing. Let's report this to Wesker.
Having made it inside the mansion successfully, Chris found himself alone, and also encountered a zombie for the first time. Jill and Barry separated in an effort to find Chris and the others, but the mansion was massive. As Jill made her way from room to room looking for Chris and collecting evidence that Umbrella was behind everything,
The door's jammed!
Stand back! Grab my hand!
That was a close one. A second late, you would have fit nicely into a sandwich.
Really? Thanks. But Barry, didn't you say you were going back to the dining room to find other clues? I'm glad and all, but why are you here?
I just had something I wanted to check. Anyway, we should get back to searching for Wesker and Chris.
Chris continued searching in other parts of the mansion. After searching through the mansion, Chris finally found a survivor.
Richard, what the hell happened to you? Chris, this place... Get your team out of here. Demons everywhere.
Don't talk.
The venom was rapidly coursing through his veins, and Chris remembered having seen a serum in another room, rushing back for it in the hopes that it would cure Richard. After finding the serum and administering it to Richard, he fainted from the exhaustion, and Chris escorted them both to a safe room, where Rebecca could continue tending to his wounds. In another part of the mansion, Chris discovered the remains of Forrest Spire, the marksman and Bravo team, who he had a friendly rivalry with. Forrest was picked apart by crows, and no longer among the living. There was nothing Chris could do for him now. The Yawn was still seeking prey, having healed from its wounds quickly due to the T-virus giving it extreme durability, and the monster went after Jill as she had to fend for herself. After defeating the snake, she searched the outdoors, going deeper into the area outside the mansion, and eventually discovered the side cabin that Lisa Trevor had made her home. A terrified Jill escaped from Lisa and overheard a conversation between Barry and Wesker in a guest house near the mansion. Later that night, Chris found the same guest house and found a secret passage leading to an underground area seeping with water. Unknown to Chris, he had stumbled on Umbrella's Aqua Ring, an enormous tank where they kept the terrifying Neptune, a combination of the T-virus and a shark.
Chris! Chris, stop! No!
Richard was healed from the venom of the Yawn, but sadly, he still met his demise, saving the life of Chris. And Chris swore that his sacrifice would not be in vain. He knew Rebecca must have gotten separated from Richard once again, and he had to find her along with the rest of his team. But first, he had to find a way to end the Neptune. Jill and Barry discovered that an enormous T-virus infected plant known as Plant 42 had taken over, and discovered a formula that would severely weaken it. Jill mixed it together and poisoned its roots, but Plant 42 was still strong from the virus.
What the hell is this thing?
Barry!
Jill!
I thought it was finished.
Yeah.
That was close. Thanks again.
Don't mention it. Something about that mansion still bothers me. But I think I'll stay here a little longer. We should split up again and investigate.
All right.
Barry separated from Jill once again, and she ran into Wesker, despicably expressing concern about Barry to create distrust among the STARS members. Wesker knew that Barry would do anything to keep his family safe.
Barry, you sounded a little flaky.
Now that you mention it, yeah. I'll keep a close eye.
Maybe it's quite natural under these circumstances. It's not really our standard operation. Jill, our first priority is to get out of here.
I agree.
And Chris made his way back to the mansion, making another horrifying discovery, finding Rebecca being attacked by a hunter and saving her life.
Rebecca,
Chris!
you okay?
I didn't mean to get you worried.
We can't stay here any longer. We have to get to the others and find a way out of here. You with me?
Yes.
Then I'll go ahead. Until then, Rebecca, you're on your own. Stay cool and use your better judgment. Got it?
I can handle myself.
Good luck.
The hunters smelled blood, and more of them made their way into the mansion, with the blind need to kill anything in their path. Jill and Chris both had discovered plenty of information incriminating Umbrella in these experiments, and both knew there was more to this mansion than it seemed. There must have been a lab somewhere where these creatures had originated. And once again, the yawn re-emerged, finding Chris alone, but the STARS member was determined to avenge the death of his friends. This time, the snake wouldn't heal from its wounds. Finding himself underground, Chris found wounded Captain Enrico Marini of Bravo Team, aware that there was a traitor somewhere within the team. Wesker had made sure that Captain Marini would give no information about what he discovered along the way.
Enrico, wait! Enrico!
Umbrella.
Enrico! Double crosser.
And as Jill made her way underground, she encountered Lisa Trevor, still tracking her from their last encounter. But now Jill was in her home. While running away, she found Barry and confronted him with her suspicions as Lisa tracked her.
Start talking.
Calm down. I didn't want to do it. Believe me, I can explain.
Don't lie to me!
No time to talk. Jill, hand me my gun.
Thanks, Jill.
Jill chose against all of her instincts to trust Barry one last time, and continued through the underground tunnels as Chris discovered the secret entrance into the Spencer Mansion's laboratory, the source of all this horror. And Rebecca had been following Chris, finally reaching him and revealing that a document she found proved that a live virus was still inside the facility. They had to destroy the entire building, and Rebecca agreed to find the self-destruct sequence and meet him outside. But Chris still had to find Jill, Barry, and Wesker. But Jill and Barry had made it even deeper underground and found the main lab, and Wesker revealed his main goal, the Tyrant.
Thank you, Barry.
Well, what do you know?
Oh, don't blame Barry for everything. I hear that his better half and 2 lovely daughters will be in danger if he doesn't do everything I tell him to.
Wesker, you're pathetic.
Well, you shouldn't worry too much, dear. You'll be free of all this anyway.
Why eliminate stars?
Believe it or not, that's Umbrella's intention.
You're just a slave of Umbrella.
Smart girl. But I think you misunderstand me. The things you mentioned are nothing. I'll burn all of them along with this entire laboratory. Barry, go up on the ground and wait there.
Barry.
You gotta love Barry. He must really be afraid of Umbrella.
You and Umbrella took his family, you bastard. Oh!
Umbrella? Well, I used some carrots and sticks to cow him, but it had nothing to do with Umbrella. I just used Barry for my personal interests. Though both you and Barry seem to think I was following Umbrella's orders.
What? What are you planning?
I guess it's time for show and tell. It's magnificent.
For the sake of this thing.
You know, I hate goodbyes.
Barry!
Forgive me.
No, you're not to blame. It's Umbrella and Wesker.
Even if it meant my family, I couldn't bear turning my back on my friends again.
Shit!
No, Barry! Barry! You're okay.
Jill, sorry. That was careless of me.
Barry had proven his loyalty to his friends, and Wesker had brought about his own death. And finally, communication from Brad up above was clear, and he directed the team to meet him outside, as Rebecca activated the self-destruct sequence, and Chris found his teammates. As Jill, Barry, and Chris made it outside, the Tyrant revealed that it was more formidable than it appeared. As the team fought the Tyrant, something was happening inside Wesker's body. His cells were repairing themselves, changing, and he suddenly found himself awake. Everything felt different. Wesker felt stronger, and all of his senses amplified. The prototype virus Birkin had given him as part of the Wesker project activated, at the point of severe bodily injury, and bonded with his genetics, successfully creating the superhuman that Umbrella had been seeking to make. Wesker immediately returned to his mission, attempting to take the data from the main computer before the facility could self-destruct, but discovered that Sergei had used Umbrella's Red Queen AI to revoke his access and backed up the data to a different location. With no more time to waste, Wesker made his way out of the lab.
What amazing power.
Lisa Trevor was still alive and would not be destroyed so easily, recognizing Wesker from her early life and the pain that he and Umbrella had inflicted on her. Wesker, using his newfound stamina, made his way through the Spencer mansion, attempting to reach the entrance to escape, finding all kinds of Umbrella creatures still wandering free. When reaching the main lobby, he faced Lisa Trevor one last time, as the STARS Alpha team nearby had to face the furious Tyrant.
Be a good girl and stay dead this time.
Chris, use it! Kill it, whatever it is!
The Spencer Mansion and Umbrella's secret lab were completely annihilated, and the nightmare seemed to be over, ending the events of the original Resident Evil. The STARS Alpha team was confident that it had the evidence it needed to expose Umbrella and end their experiments forever. But unknown to them, Wesker was still out there plotting, and Birkin was still alive, continuing his research into the G-Virus, an event that would cause one of the worst tragedies that mankind would ever face. Make sure you join me next time for the Resident Evil Timeline Part 2, City of the Dead, where the nightmare of the Spencer Mansion repeats itself tenfold as the T-Virus spreads into nearby Raccoon City and the infection becomes impossible to contain. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button with all of your strength. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new content. You can follow me on social media for updates, and for as little as $1 a month, you can support the channel directly on Patreon. This is Fabian. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.